Welcome back to Yogaxpress, your virtual stretch clinic that helps you move the body to still the mind. My name is Banu Suresh. I'm your host for this program. Today we have one very familiar face who's back with us for more, almost a yoga addict.
I am an addict.
And you love it, don't you, Sarah?
I love it.
Sarah
and I love
Torres.
the high of the oxygen we get.
That's right. We did some breathing yesterday. We also have Nelson Santos. Nelson is on his way to becoming a yoga addict, right?
Yes.
Nelson, I'm going to reintroduce Nelson Santos one more time. Nelson, you came on our show for the first time yesterday, and I literally just drafted you because you were going to crew for us.
Yes.
And you're an eminent certified camera person. Is there another dimension to you that you'd like to share with us? Because I noticed you were so comfortable getting into Supta Vajra. Do you practice yoga?
I've done it a few times before.
In a studio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I took a class. I've done it a bit at home, but that's about it.
Okay.
That's about it. Yeah.
And would that be what, 3, 4 times, 5 times?
I used to do it at home about 3 times a week.
3 times a week?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
3
So
times a week.
you've been practicing before?
A bit, just a bit.
Okay, that's
yeah.
wonderful.
Not at your level or her level, but yeah,
Oh,
just
no.
a bit,
In
yeah.
fact, I have to say this girl is amazingly become yoga addicted, if there is such a word, because she had never practiced yoga before she came on the show. Now she comes every chance she gets.
Yes.
So I think that's wonderful because the kind of commitment that she has to her stretching, it's wonderful to see that, and it's great to see that in you too, the joy that we get out of just stretching. And unless we get right here on the mat, it's really very hard to explain it to people. We talked about, before we started taping yesterday, we talked about how people can get a high, not just on breathing, but even when stretching, or maybe I just started to touch on that
Yeah, you
topic.
touched on it.
That's something that our viewers also need to keep in mind. When we stretch, yoga has many dimensions. In fact, there are 8 dimensions to yoga. It's called Ashtanga Yoga. There's personal discipline, social discipline, just like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not whatever. You have your 10 commandments, right? We have the 8 limbs. So there's
Oh, I was
Yama,
going to say,
Niyama.
there's 8 commandments, but
No, there's 10. Is it 10, right? Is it 10, right?
10 is 10.
Well, we have the 8 limbs of
I gotta learn
yoga.
those. I have to learn those.
So there's EMA, there's personal discipline, social discipline. You're talking about personal discipline like your daily hygiene, the way you dress, the way you interact with people. There's social discipline, the way we say don't steal, don't lie, things like that, where it affects somebody else. Then the third step is breathing, pranayama. Fourth step only is what most of North America seems to be engrossed with, is the posture practice. People don't realize that yoga has 8 limbs. So after step 4 is asana, which is posture practice. Step 5 is pratyahara, which is withdrawal of senses. So
So is
we
that
talk
the
about
part where we tune people out?
exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we try to zen people out. Basically, it's not people necessarily. We try to zen any negative
Distractions.
emotions or distractions. Exactly. That's beautifully put. See, both of you are really able to articulate exactly what step 5 would be. For instance, pratyahara, people will always be people. They may say something to us which under normal circumstance, in fact, I find even with me, on days that I don't practice, I don't feel strong enough. And if someone says something that feels hurtful to me, it affects me, right?
Yes.
I'm ready to fall apart. But the days that you practice, and which is why it's so important to practice our yoga, do all simple stretches every day because it makes you feel stronger. The days that we practice, suddenly we have this insulation, this capsule. We are inside this little capsule. We're feeling really strong. Nothing anybody says can burst that bubble or, pierce our armor, as I like to call it. So we're like in our own little shell. when we practice.
We should focus on that more.
Yeah,
like,
no, that's
I
what-
like when that happens.
That's right.
Like,
You feel strong, right?
yeah,
From the
'cause it's
inside.
like- and then when people are doing things, it's almost easy to even find a joy in what they're saying. Like, oh, you're making fun of my cold. Like, yeah,
It doesn't
yeah,
matter.
Good for you,
okay.
good for you,
Yeah,
good
like
for you.
good.
Yeah,
Enjoy
good for you.
yourself. Good for
That's
you.
right. Have fun if that makes you happy,
Yeah.
right?
Other days, it's like, what you say about my cold? You don't even be feeling it.
So we try not to let things affect us. And you're a writer, so you're able to articulate that so well. That's what it is all about. It's about being able to let everything bounce off of us. And talking about the physical, the asana side, pratyahara is step 5. So we're all trying to get there. And we were talking about
We wanna
zenning
stay
people
there.
out. Remember on Friday was a little
Yeah.
noisy. The studios were,
was.
this is an
A lot
open
of
studio.
trafficking.
So yeah, and sometimes when we have visitors to the studio, they don't realize there's a taping happening. It gets noisy. We had a guest on Friday, a special guest, and we all just learned to zen out those sounds. Otherwise, it would be very distracting. So you use the word distractions. Those are very little things that help us go a long way in life. So, well, coming to step 6 is concentration, and then you have meditation. A lot of the times we sit in one position in a very quiet part of the house, and we believe we are meditating. But really, that doesn't happen till you're able to concentrate for about half an hour. The actual meditation is when you take every little thought out of your mind, and try that sometime. That's not easy. Having no thoughts at all, right?
Yeah,
You tried it.
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's
I
hard.
But
don't
at
think
the
I've
same
ever done that.
You know what might be, and I find this helps me, go to the middle of Times Square. And you'd be surprised how easy it is to zen out everything when you're in a noisy place. We feel as if we have to sit in a quiet place. That's harder to meditate in that
Does it
spot.
happen? Does it
I
happen
can
when you
zone
write?
things out.
When you
How do you
write,
do
does
it?
happen?
No, I've always
Hey,
have something
she-
on my mind. So I've always got a story to tell. But I'm saying, like, you're saying how you can be, like, completely thoughtless.
It is hard.
I've never.
That's too.
I cannot not think. Like,
In fact, we have. It's.
she's saying her own. I'm
Daydream.
thinking about all kind of stuff. I'm like,
It's a rewording of a phrase, but it's like diving into the crevices of silence. I don't know who said that, but I sort of found a way to articulate that a little deeper. We think of ourselves as if we are covered within a porous fabric. So it's really hard to find those crevices of silence inside of us, but when you really get into that meditative phase, it's like you have this sense of peace that washes all over you.
In
And I
silence.
In silence.
Would
No,
daydreaming
it's your
be that
inner
place?
silence.
Would daydreaming be that place?
Could it be
Maybe it
the
could
same?
take you there. You could
Yeah.
try it. But you find a sense of peace coming over you. But are your thoughts still, are they calming you? Are your thoughts agitating you or calming? It depends on what kind of daydreaming you have. Because sometimes you may have a daydream that actually extends into your everyday life. And it could be something very aggressive or something that's very active.
my daydreams are usually pleasant. Like, I'll be picking daisies or. It's like I've had daydreams where I'm picking daisies and smelling them. Like,
You're in your own little world, girl.
Yeah.
So,
Daydreaming.
before I forget, I'd like to thank our crew.
seeing clouds
We
in the
have
studio.
Josiane. You're in your own little cloud nine now. I'd like to thank, before we move on to some stretching, are you okay? Let's do forward folds today. We did back bends yesterday. You guys, you enjoyed it. Let's do some forward folds to show our viewers that every posture in yoga needs to have a counter posture. We are isolating these postures for you so you get into the routine of working our stretches into your everyday exercise pattern. So I'd like to thank, before we move on, I'd like to thank our director, Josiane Hurd, co-director, Carol Lewis. We have Vince Buis. Vince, I hope I got your name right finally. Vince Buis in the control room, and George Sotrelis. Thank you so much for the great teamwork. I'd also like to thank Roberto Espinel for the studio setting right here. If we are ready, let's all stand up. I'm going to do some forward folds today. Let me get this right. Okay, Sarah Torres, an up-and-coming author. Sarah, remind our viewers one more time, what's the name of your book?
Something for everyone. That one's going to be the first one to come out.
And it's going to be online first?
No, although somebody suggested that might be a simpler process to put it the ebook first,
Yeah.
and then the tangible book. But
Consider that. But if you have someone who's going to publish it, that's great. And you could also do online side by side. So, all right, let's do some postures that'll help delay, hopefully alleviate constipation. A lot of forward folds.
said you don't want to delay constipation.
No. The onset. No, you're right. You don't want to feel constipated. You want to get relief from constipation. So you want to do forward folds. Other than getting punched in the stomach, the forward folds help massage the abdominal region, the lower abdominal region, which is where your large intestine is. So sometimes, you have to remember, I'm not a native English speaker, so I have an excuse to get away with that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some forward folds. And remember, all these postures have a counter posture in the chest openers, which we did yesterday. We took you through those stretches yesterday. Today, we're going to do forward folds. So let's stagger. Why don't we come, Nelson, you and Sarah come forward. I'm going to go back. We're going to stagger ourselves. Heels together, toes slightly apart, palms in front of your chest. Now, to be able to do this particular forward fold, which is Pada Hasta, hands to feet, we first need to take our arms all the way up. So inhale into Hasta Uttana, arms up. Exhale, fold from the hip. Try that loud Ujjayi breathing that we learned yesterday. Now, once your palms are all the way done, if for those of you who are stretching with us, if your palms do not come down or if your fingers do not touch your toes today, that's okay. You can bend your knees just a little bit, or you could place your hands at your ankles or your shin. Just try to avoid your knees. Even your thighs is fine. Keep exhaling. Hold it right there. And then straighten your knees. Press your palms together. Come up with a nice straight back. Pada Hasta, hands to feet. Hasta is hands, Pada is feet. Exhale and release. Let's bring our arms down. This time we're going to do the forward fold that we did not intend to do yesterday. Yes. That is actually a wonderful, wonderful forward fold, Prasarita Padottan. But before we do that, let me see how many can we. We've also got some seated forward folds. So let's do that. Let's do that one first. Let's come, turn to face the front right of the mat. Bring your legs as far apart as you can, maybe a little further than you normally would. The school I came from calls this Ugra. Ugra is fierce. Put your brakes on, so bring your toes in. So you want to be nice and secure on the mat. Turn your upper body to face the side of your mat. Inhale your arms up to shoulder height. Just the side. That's it, in front of you, okay. Keep inhaling, take your arms all the way up, palms facing in. Clasp your palms together, take your shoulders back. Exhale, fold from the hip. This is one of those times when it's perfectly okay to use a prop. Now, if you don't feel as flexible as Sarah today, that's okay. Don't be afraid to use help. Just like when you go on the streets, don't be afraid to ask for help. Keep exhaling. Keep your palms nice and firm. If the top of your head does not come to the floor, feel free to use a foam block, like we've got this here. Always try the lowest orientation first. And if that's not going to do it for you today, place it at midpoint. If that's not sufficient, you're very tired, you can place it at its highest point. For me, I'm going to keep it at its lowest point today. Make that connection. Feel the crown of your head, the top of your head, make contact either with the floor or the brick. Now press with your palms. And then before I come up, I'm going to take this block out of the way. Keep your palms nice and secure. Wiggle your feet a little closer till it's safe to take your palms off of the floor. Place your palms together. Inhale, come up with a straight back. Exhale and release. Let's wiggle our feet a little closer. What happened in Prasarita Padottan? Prasarita means widespread, Padottan is feet. Let's turn to face the front of the mat. What's happening there is when we fold over with a nice straight back, the upper abdomen and the lower, mainly the lower abdomen, presses against the upper thighs. So you're getting a nice little massage for your lower abdominal region. Now, there are two other postures that we could repeat from yesterday, but I think, actually, no, we're not going to repeat. We're going to keep those triangle postures out of our practice today. We've already done them yesterday. The triangle with your legs out, they don't give us the full fold. So what we're going to do is take ourselves a little deeper in a slightly different posture. Transfer your weight to your right leg. Place your right hand on your right hip. Uttita Pada. Uttita is raised, Pada is foot. Inhale, lift your left foot as high as you can. Hold on to your left big toe with your left hand. So your left knee comes out to the side, Sarah. You want to take your hand from the inside. Very nice. Inhale, exhale, and extend. I almost forgot. You want to take your hand from the inside, Nelson. Oh, you did. Okay. And what I'm going to do, I think Sarah she needs more room because I know you like to get your leg out to the side. So I'm going to go back. Now, actually, let's do the other side. Transfer your weight to the left leg. Lift your right foot. Lift your right heel and then hold on to your right big toe with your right hand. When you're ready, take a deep breath in, exhale, and extend. Now, once your leg is out, if you want to get it out as straight as Sarah is, if you're able to do that, take your right leg out to the side. My knee is bent just a little bit. Careful, Sarah. Inhale. That's okay. Inhale. And very gently release. The idea in this posture is not necessarily just to extend the leg out. If you're able to do it, that's great. For those of us who may not take our leg out all the way, it's okay. The idea is to feel the upper thigh pressing against the lower abdominal region on the right side. So you want to feel that compression. So if your leg, it's just like if the mountain doesn't come to Muhammad, Muhammad goes to the mountain. So if your leg doesn't come out all the way, you could do what Nelson did. You did fold over a little bit, right? So you could press the lower abdominal region against your upper right thigh. For this particular posture, you don't have to get your leg out all the way. But if you feel you can do it the way Sarah did, that's fine. Go ahead, go for it. Now we're going to take you through 1, 2, 3, 4 postures, one after the other. We're going to transition 4 postures together. Heels are together, toes slightly apart, palms in front of your chest. Elbows are raised. Remember what we told you yesterday. When your elbows are raised, you learn to stay in the moment. Inhale, take your arms all the way up. This time, cross your palms over, hold on to your opposite elbows. Once you've made that connection, wiggle your biceps behind your ears. That helps you open up your chest. Now you're going to see how this posture, especially this posture, actually helps you feel a wonderful compression of your lower abdomen on your upper thighs. Exhale and fold with a nice straight back. Hold it right there. Now in this particular posture, you should be able to you should feel the body just flopping down, actually very gracefully. Your body will go down as far as you'll allow, so keep exhaling. Takes you a little deeper. One of the 5 rules of yoga, Nelson, is gravity. Circulation is one of them, massage is another, but gravity, we allow gravity to take our body deeper and deeper into postures. Uttanasana, Uttan is standing forward fold. Very gently lower your hands to the floor, about 6 to 8 inches in front of your feet. Take your left leg back and then the right. Nelson, you've attended a few yoga classes. You remember every school would be teaching us how to get into downward facing dog. You've heard of that one, right?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Literally, Adho Mukha Shvanasana. Adho is down or downward. Mukha is face or facing. Shvana is dog. Literally, downward facing dog translates to Adho Mukha Shvanasana. And keep exhaling. And in this particular posture, you may not feel a compression of your lower abdomen on your upper thighs, but the reason you feel the massage is this is one of the few postures that allows you to get into abdominal breathing. So let's exhale through the belly. Remember, inhale happens. Take another deep breath in, exhale through the belly. Very gently bring your right foot between the hands and then lower your left knee to the floor. Uncurl your toes on the left foot and let's ease off. Ashwa Sanchala, Ashwini is horse. Ashwa Sanchala like a horse or equestrian. Now, uncurl your toes on the left foot. Remember, if your toes are curled in, when you're younger you may not feel it, but as we grow older, the gel behind the kneecap, which is called synovial fluid, it starts to dry up. So there's not enough lubrication in the knees for those of us who are getting to the senior citizen stage. But if you have...
Happy, huh?
That's right.
Discounts.
I can't wait to get my 50% off on the buses and trains. But That's another reason also to be extra careful, especially when you have one knee on the floor. When you have your toes curled in, there's more pressure on your knees. So now exhale and dip. Feel the compression of the lower abdominal region on the right side on your upper right thigh. Now let's take this a little deeper. From Ashvasanchana, we're going to take you through Parsva Kona Namaskara. Parsva is intense, Kona is corner, Namaskara is prayer. Intense prayer twist. Inhale, the left arm up. So right knee is up, left arm goes up. Exhale, dip your left elbow over your right. This is the one Sarah was demonstrating before we started today. Place your right palm on top of the left. Raise your right elbow, look up at the raised elbow and hold. This twist in itself will energize us so much when we come out of it, but it's also a wonderful compression for the lower abdominal region on the right side. Inhale, let's come out of that, and let's switch legs as gracefully as we can. Take the right leg back, come on our knees, bring the left leg forward first into Ashvasanchana. Ashvasanchana or equestrian. Now, right knee, I know a lot of, maybe even at the gyms and all the muscle association, whatever association we have in North America, they always tell you to be extra careful, and there's a good reason for it. We are advised not to take our knees too far over the toes, and there's a reason for it. But in yoga, we do take a few liberties. What we do is we ask you to exhale, to breathe into your posture. So if your knee does go a little over your toes, it's okay. But do not hyperextend. They call it hyperextension. You don't want to do that. Keep exhaling and dip your hip. Feel the compression of your lower abdominal region on the left side, on your upper left thigh. Left knee is up. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, dip your right elbow over the left knee. Place your left palm on top of the right. Raise your left elbow, look up at the raised elbow and hold. Parsva Kona Namaskara. In this posture, not only is it a wonderful twist, you also get a good workout for your knees, and you get a beautiful stretch of your obliques on the right, on both sides actually. In this particular side, we get a stretch on the obliques on the right side. Inhale. Let's come out of that. Let's sit down on our knees. This is a posture that you're very comfortable in, Nelson, so we're going to give you the pleasure of sitting on your knees, and this time you're not going to bring your knees out or your toes. We're going to sit nicely collapsed, so make yourself nice and compact. We're going to do a wonderful forward fold. It's a beautiful rest posture. It also gives us a very consistent massage of the whole of the lower abdomen on the upper thighs. Inhale the arms up to shoulder height, palms facing down. Keep inhaling. Take your arms all the way overhead, palms facing in. Clasp your palms together. In any manner you've been trained, you could have your index fingers out, you could cross all your fingers over, or you could keep your palms straight. For me, I like to cross my fingers over, otherwise I come undone. So I'm going to keep it nice and firm. Now, exhale, fold from the hip. Keep exhaling through the belly and fold. Keep your back nice and straight. Open up your palms, keep your palms flat, and make this an active posture. Raise your elbows off of the ground. Resist the temptation to lift your buttocks up. If you can keep your buttocks down, you feel more of a compression of your lower abdominal region on the upper thighs. Keep exhaling and breathe into your posture. So exhale and inhale through the belly. That gives you a wonderful massage for the lower abdominal region. Inhale, press with your palms, engage the low back muscles, come up with a straight back. Exhale and release. How does that feel? I'm already getting a high. We have about 3 minutes left.
I was giggling the whole time like...
Let's extend our right leg out. Janu Sirsha. From Shashank, the posture we just came into is rabbit or Shashank. We're going to come into Janu Sirsha. Janu is knee. Sirsha is head. Literally, we're going to attempt to get our head to the knee. I'm not sure about Nelson yet. I don't know how he is in this one. For me, it's a little bit of a challenge, but the idea is to feel the compression. So I'm going to do the best I can. I know Sarah probably is all hyped up. She's going to get there. Sarah, inhale. Extend your right leg out in front of you. Turn your upper body to face the extended leg. Flex your right foot. Inhale the arms up to shoulder height, palms facing down. Keep inhaling, slow, controlled motion. Take your arms all the way up. Exhale, fold from the hip. Clasp your palms over your foot. If your hands go over your feet, give yourself a lovely little massage. You want to make the most of every little posture, every little stretch. Keep exhaling. If you're able to clasp your feet, exhale, pull your upper body forward. While you're in this posture, make sure your left knee does not come off of the ground. You might hurt yourself if you do that. Keep your right leg extended. Inhale, engage your low back, come up with a straight back. Keep your arms where they are. Extend the left leg out, fold the right leg in. There are plenty of wonderful postures to help alleviate constipation. I was looking for that word before Sarah corrected my English again. Exhale and fold. It's like, the fisherman who bought some, he bought some liquid which said good for fish. He poured the liquid into the water and all the fish went away. So the guy in the shop says, yeah, they're good for fish. They all ran away, so swam away or whatever. It's like that, Inhale, let's come up. From Janu Sesha, we're going to fold both our knees in. We're going to come in a seated position, which I know now. Actually, you can bring your palms down. Let's sit on our heels. Bring your knees as close together as possible. And this one, it's a slight variation of the rabbit, where you take your arms behind you. And Sarah, you were comfortable making a reverse namaste. Watch what Sarah's doing. She's going to bring her palms together in what's called a reverse namaste. If that is accessible to you today, feel free. Bring your palms together. If you're not ready for that, that's okay. The idea is to feel the compression. So while the credits are rolling, I'd like to thank our director, Josiane Hurd, Carol Lewis, Vince Boas, and George Soterelis in the control room. We have a couple of minutes, so we're going to enjoy the remainder of the postures. Thanks also to Roberto Espinel for the studio lights and the sound. Exhale, fold from the hip. Keep your back nice and straight. Lead with the chest. Resist the temptation to lift your buttocks off of the floor. Keep your buttocks down. Now, if your forehead does not touch the ground, that's okay. The idea is to feel the compression of the lower abdominal region on the front of your upper thighs. Inhale. Let's come up. And let's extend our legs out in front of us. We have about a minute and a half. We can probably steal 2 more postures. Actually, I would love to do the rest of it, but we'll do it off camera. Keep both your legs extended. Supta Namaskara, supine prayer. Place both your palms beside your left hip. Exhale and dip. Keep your buttocks on the floor. On behalf of Sarah Torres and Nelson Santos, this is Banu Suresh signing off. You are watching Yogaxpress. Inhale, let's come up. And let's turn to the other side. Place both your palms beside your right hip. Exhale and dip. Feel the compression of your obliques on the right side. Keep your left hip down. Keep your feet flexed. Inhale. Let's come up. While the cameras are still rolling, I think we can get in a wonderful, wonderful posture in prone position. Let's come down on our belly. It's the boat posture, the Navasana, which is a beautiful massage for the abdominal region. Extend your arms out in front of us.
Now every time I finish doing
You like
abs
it?
in my house.
This does feel good.